Hello, welcome to my channel. Another bibliophile reads. My name is Greg, and I am a Kindle Krack Head. If you are not familiar with the term Kindle Krack, it is what I call the deeply discounted Kindle deals that Amazon offers. They will put up an ebook for sale, 99 cents. $1.99, $2.99. Deals so good that I cannot say no to the temptation. Therefore, I call it Kindle Krack. I should show more self-restraint and resist these deals. But some of these deals are very hard to resist. I'm getting better. I tend to look at the sales and check my local libraries and see if that Kindle book is available for download. If it's available for download, I'm getting better at saying no. Sometimes I'm not saying no, especially for books that are going to have a very long wait list. Well, when I was doing last year the Read What You Own challenge, the 100 book challenge, I finished that in March of this year when I was on vacation in Mexico. And then I started buying these Kindle Krack deals again. And I'm telling you the books that I bought between March 5th and May 26th. That is 82 days, and I bought 36 books. On occasion in this video, I am going to be blaming some booktubers for buying this book because they had the audacity to comment on a book and make a video about a book. And I went ahead and bought that book. Now, when I say blame, take that in a very good nature. I'm not saying anything negative about them. It's just that I'm laying blame for my inability to resist temptation. Well, I'm going to give you my 36 books that I bought. I'm going to be giving a very fast description because I do not want this to be an especially long video. King Rat by James Clavell. It is my favorite book of the Asian saga. I do own a paperback. I do own the audiobook. So why not have the ebook as well? Creepy Me, Ouroboros Book 1 by Will Waugh. He is a commenter on some of my videos, and this is his first self-published book. It is set in Virginia, close to where I live. Now, he was in the 80s in Virginia, and I was in Maryland in the 80s at the time, but it's close enough that I wanted to get this book. I think I got it for free, or was it 99 cents? I can't remember. Charlesgate Confidential by Scott von Doviak. This is a hard case crime mystery. Yes, I wanted it for $1.99. Killer Come Back to Me by Ray Bradbury. This is his collection of mystery and crime stories. Yes, I want to read some of Ray Bradbury's mystery and crime stories. Motherless Brooklyn by Jonathan Lethem. Jonathan Lethem is a literary author. He also delves a little bit into the science fiction realm in his books. I think I own the paperback. Dark Corners of the Old Dominion, edited by Joseph Maddrey and Michael Rook. This is an anthology of short horror stories set in Virginia, the state I currently live in, and I read this for Horror Mayhem Week 1 local horror. Return to the Black Farm by Elias, Witherow. And I blame Bad is Rad too, because I buddy read The Black Farm with her a couple of months ago, and she's been asking me to read Return to the Black Farm so we can talk about it on Voxer. A Short Stay in Hell by Stephen L. Peck. This is a horror novella, and I blame Cliff at Cliff's Dark Gems. The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. I have never finished this trilogy. I read the first book when I was in high school and never got around to it. I believe it was Nicole at Nicole's Bookish Nook on a live stream commented that Tolkien was on sale one day, and I got this for $1.99. Yes, I should get around to reading Lord of the Rings someday. Priest, a love story by Sierra Simone. This is an erotic love story with some dark elements. It was free on Kindle one day, and I blame Bad is Rad too. The Final Reckoning by Sam Bourne. This is a spy thriller. And I really can't blame the BookTube prize for this one. But what happens is last year I read The Escape Artist by this author. This was a work of nonfiction about a Jewish man escaping Auschwitz. And then I discovered he wrote these spy thrillers under a pseudonym. And Sam Bourne is a pseudonym. So I had to go get that because I really liked The Escape Artist. Delphi collection works of H. Rider Haggard. This is a collection of all the works of that author. I read She as part of a Spring Into Adventure group read, so I can sort of blame Mark at book time with Elvis. The Search for Joseph Tully by William H. Hallahan. This is a horror novel from the 70s. The Hell Candidate by Graham Masterton. Masterton is always reliable. This is a novel I believe that he wrote in the 70s about a president of the United States who got elected with the help of the devil. He decided in 2016 that it might be a fun time to republish a book about a president of the United States that got help elected with the devil. Although he says in his comments he doubts Trump actually used the devil. I guess he doesn't want to be sued for libel. The Broken Sword by Poul Anderson. This is a fantasy book from the 70s or 80s, and I blame Michael K. Vaughan. I tend to like my fantasy books older rather than the newer block of fantasy books. So, Michael K. Vaughan, you are to blame for me getting this. Something's Alive on the Titanic by Robert J. Serling. I blame Steve Donahue. This is supposedly nonfiction about something on the Titanic. I believe that nonfiction can be taken with a whole lot of grain of salt. The List of Seven by Mark Frost. This is a sort of a spy adventure thriller type of book. It is well regarded by Jim at Mystery and Mayhem. So Jim, you are to blame for this book. Gwen in Green by Hugh Zachary. And I blame myself for starting the 70s horror read group, because it was one of the books that I suggested. Our Lady of Darkness by Fritz Leiber. Also a book being read for my 70s horror group, and it was picked by Alan at Big Hard Books and Classics. So I guess I can blame Alan a little for that too. All Roads Lead to Whitechapel. The Baker Street Inquiries Book 1 by Michelle Birkby. This is sort of a Sherlock Holmes pastiche, where if I am not mistaken, it is the two wives of, it is the wife of Dr. Watson and the landlady to Sherlock Holmes that are solving a crime. And I picked this one out because I had recently read From Hell by Alan Moore about Jack the Ripper, and I just bought a whole bunch of Jack the Ripper books. Most of the other Jack the Ripper books were paperbacks. Claws by Ozzie cheek. This looks like a killer animal book, and if you know my channel, you know I like killer animal books, even though they're usually not very good. The Mammoth Book of Zombies, 20th Anniversary Edition by Stephen Jones. This is a collection of short stories, horror short stories, about zombies. And I can definitely blame Cliff at Cliff's Dark Gems for recommending this to me. The Dying Animal by Philip Roth. Okay, I have to admit it. I like Philip Roth's books. He was, by all accountability, a horrible human being, but he wrote some good books. Death and the Devil by Frank Schutzing. This is sort of a medieval mystery thriller, somewhere set in the Middle Ages. This book only cost 75 cents. I'm kind of worried that there may be some quality issues with the text if it's that cheap, or just it was that cheap. All That I Dread, a canine search and rescue story by Linda J. White. I got this one for free. She is a local author, and this book is being read by my in-person book group. And that is why I got it. I probably would not have gotten it otherwise, even though it was free. The Eagle Has Landed by Jack Higgins. I read this many years ago. This is a World War II adventure story and was pretty good. And it does feature Winston Churchill as a minor character. Edge, Blood on Silver, Edge Book Series, Book 5 by George G. Gilman. I have been reading the Edge series off and on. I think it is hit or miss. I want to see if I can get another hit with this series. And it is going to be read for June on The Rain. Oh, by the way, I can blame the Edge on Criminale because he got me started reading that series again. Undead Folk by Catherine Silva. This is about an undead fox. Highly recommended by MJ at Reading This Life, so I blame MJ. The Expert Systems Brother by Adrian Tchaikovsky. He is a current British science fiction author. I have read a number of his books, and they're all pretty good. This seems to be like a short little novel, maybe a novella. Maybe I can blame Gareth at Book Songs and Other Magic because he's always talking up Adrian Tchaikovsky. This is really only a half blame because I had read him on my own anyway and probably would have picked up this on my own. So it's a half blame. The Devil in Grey by Graham Masterton. As I said before, Graham Masterton is always reliable as a horror author. Babel, or The Necessity of Violence, An Arcane History of the Oxford Translators' Revolution by R.F. Kuang. This is actually a work of fantasy or historical fantasy because it's set in historical Oxford. I have not read anything by this author, but she is very well known. Goodnight Moom with an M, M-O-O-M, by Jack McLean. This is an 80s horror novel. I believe it was originally published by Zebra or one of those other really low-end horror publishers, and I've always wanted to read it. The Private Life of Elder Things by Adrian Tchaikovsky, Adam Golofts, and Karis McDonald. Again, this is Adrian Tchaikovsky. I believe this is a collection of interconnected short stories in science fiction, or is it horror? I'm really not sure. I just bought it at $1.99. Don't blame me. Strange Seed by T.M. Wright. This is another 70s horror novel. It has not been selected for my project, but I wanted to get it anyway. The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky, translated by Michael R. Katz. This is the newest translation of The Brothers Karamazov, and I've been wanting this book for a long time. When I was on my 100 book challenge, I had an explicit exception saying, if this book goes on sale, I'm buying it. Well, it did not go on sale during my challenge, but it went on sale last week, and I bought it. And I really need to make time to read it. Caligula and Three Other Plays by Albert Camus, the famous existentialist philosopher and novelist, also wrote plays. I own this in paperback, but why not get a Kindle Krack copy as well? That's all that I bought. If you think I have a problem, I know I have a problem. I will try to do better and not be such a crackhead in the future. Thank you for watching, and keep on reading.